So it's 6 something, like 6, not quite 6:30 in the evening, and me and Adam are headed off. We're gonna try and get the combine back to the farm for a couple reasons. We don't usually pull it out this soon. Usually it's another week or two later, as we were in the middle of August. This year we're gonna take it to Deere and have them do some work to it. And so we need to get it back a little sooner than normal. So we are headed, even though it's later in the evening, we are headed on an adventure to bring combine 20 something miles back to the home farm here. Whenever we get the fall harvest equipment, combine, grain cart, heads, etc., it's a little bittersweet because we know on one hand it's exciting because yeah, fall's coming and you know, it's when we're the busiest and sometimes it's fun. Flip side of that coin is it's when we're the busiest. It's when there's the most breakdowns. It's when there's the most headaches. And last year when I went and got the combine, it did this to me. Came to a stop sign and she just died on me. So I'm gonna go out and see if that wiring harness fell off because I'm hoping that's it right now because she won't restart. Come to a stop sign, pull back on the hydraulics or the hydrostat there, or the lever that makes it go forward, and all of a sudden I feel the whole thing just choke out. Yeah, all right, well, here we go again. Now, granted, this was a different combine, but in the back of my head, people always wonder, like, when you think, like, what's the worst that could happen? Well, we just don't say things like that. We just know and are quiet, and then when we get home and everything ran perfect, you're like, yes. This is one of those times where we got to explain more in depth what's actually going on here. Because when we went and picked up the combine this night, even though it was a little over a month ago on August 17th, there was a little more going on than just, oh, let's go get the combine. What kind of started this adventure that night is we knew last year when we finished combining, we had the rear engine oil seal go out of the combine and it was gushing engine oil everywhere. We were it started off as being something pretty simple, like maybe a quart every 2 to 4 hours, and then pretty soon it was like a gallon every 2 to 4 hours. And basically last year we got to a point where we were just trying to finish up that last like 50, 60 acres. And we literally were putting about 2 gallons in per day. It was leaking that bad and it was running down both sides of the combine. So we knew we had this rear main out and we had to address it. Now, the way the summer was going is everything was just super crazy, super busy. And by the time we got to the middle of August, I knew I wasn't gonna have time to work on this combine. So I talked to our local John Deere dealership and they were awesome, but the one thing the shop foreman told me was, hey, get it here as soon as possible. And so that's why that night, I literally was in his office earlier that day, and then that night we're like, yep, let's go get it. So typically, pulling the combine out of the shed isn't a big deal for most farmers. For us, we actually store the combine, the heads, the grain cart in a family member's shed about 25 miles away, between 20, 23, 24, somewhere in there. And so when we start this project at 6:30 at night, we first got to drive over there. Then we got to pull out all of that farmer's stuff that's parked in front of it. That's actually what we're doing here. We're pulling out all the stuff because we like to put all the stuff in the very far end of the shed that doesn't get used that much, so it's not in his way. So first we got to move all the stuff that's in front of it. Then we got to pull out the heads, the grain cart, and then finally we get to the combine. Now, every year we have this dream of unhooking the batteries, and some years we fulfill it. Last year was not one of those years. So go to turn the key, and oh, once you know it, the combine has dead batteries. Oh well, bring the truck in, start boosting it, and actually it took a little while, but we got it to fire up. We get it to fire up, everything's running really, really good. We actually get the combine outside, and that's kind of like step one, like, hey, we got everything, you know, outside, this is great. But then we got to put all the family members' farm equipment back in the shed. So we push it all back in the shed. And this is a yearly event for us, so we're kind of used to it. And then we get to drive it home. Okay, so the reason this is kind of funny, me and Adam put on a clinic that night on how to get stuff in and out of the shed as fast as possible. I really think that was like the most efficient. We've been doing this for about 12 to 14 years, and I think this last year was the absolute most smoothest we ever have it. So take everything out of the shed, get the combine out, put all the other stuff that we don't need back in the shed so farmer's happy and lets us come back next year. and then we take off down the road, headed to the home farm, 20 some miles away. It's kind of funny because there's a lot of things that are going on in this video kind of behind the scenes, and it's kind of funny when I was looking through the footage, trying to put it together, going, wow, this was one of those nights I never really stopped working because we just had to get everything home so we could get it to Deere so they could work on it. And so it's kind of funny, going through it, I was like, oh, I didn't really explain at all, like, what's going on. We explained we're going to get it, but we didn't really explain, like, why and all that stuff. So with the whole premise of trying to get the combine to John Deere as soon as possible so they could work on it, that is kind of what started this whole process this night back in August 17th, trying to get this all out. Kind of cool. We did make it safely, and compared to the year before, but just kind of one of those crazy Eric adventures. All right, so this is a change of pace. Usually when we stand here in the shop, and I just want to point out Steiger's still there, but not for long. Okay. Usually when we're standing here late at night, it's because something traumatic happened, something blew apart, the ground didn't freeze, but the truck froze up. And it's usually 5 o'clock in the morning. Tonight, what is it, 10:15 in the morning, and, all right, sorry. 10:15 at night, and we're home. We have no intention of going to a field or another job site. Like, we're not here grabbing parts to go fix something. Like, This is weird, man. This isn't like us.
No, not at all. We don't plan on working on anything here either.
No, that's true too. Yeah, we're not working on something in here till 2 o'clock in the morning to like hit, get it to a job site, tomorrow. You do remember last year bringing combine home? Yeah, you remember it like died on the road, and then this year's better. Like go 23, yeah. How was you 22?
Yep.
And 21. And 20. 20 we ended up putting rasp bars in mid-season. Yeah. So yeah, just this year's gonna be better, right?
Yep.
It was weird though, like we needed to boost it, but we boosted it, it started, it drove out of the shed, and then we just put the stuff back, the equipment back in the shed, and then we just hit the road and we drove all the way here with no problems.
Like never happens anymore.
It's swinging back. Yeah. We've definitely, I was thinking about this today. We definitely have gone through the ringer on like weirdo stuff, weirdo breakdowns, just abnormal stuff. I mean, we really never had a whole lot of drama with the combine. We had one burn down in 17. That sucked. But up to that point, like we never really had any crazy drama. And then 20, boom, rasp bars, middle of the season. 21, 5 straw walkers out the back end of the combine. 21 also, now this one I had coming. Like Duke, if you remember, when we brought Duke home, that combine has a reason to hate me. But I think that was only for like a 1-year thing. So on the way home that night, I had it on the lowboy, and I had to avoid a car accident over here in these lanes. I had to put the combine up against the Jersey barriers, the cement barriers on this lane. And so got the road rash to prove it. Well, you can see there, we got the new combine home. Safe, one piece. You can see the other combine there behind me in pieces. So safe and one piece, in pieces. But then we found out when we got home, we found out something else. We were under 13 feet from the ground to the top of the clean grain elevator. But then when we got in the yard here the next day, we found out something smacked the clean grain elevator. And not bad enough to hurt anything, but just enough to dent the crap out of a shield. My nerves were so rattled after that. Then, I don't know if I ever told you this, the next day, I was going up the ramp at the water plant, and trailer unhooked on me.
Jeez, really?
Oh, dude, if you ever had a time frame in life when you're like,
hopefully the brakes were applied fits.
They did, yeah, no, they were, but yeah, because actually that's what took out on the green truck there, that's what broke that shock mount.
Ah,
yeah.
That's what happened.
Yep. Yeah, so that was 21-22. Grass bars, straw walk. Other thing that happened in 20, we started the day with 4 tires on the front of the machine, all holding air. We ended the day with only 2 holding air. And luckily we caught it right away in the morning. And so luckily I ordered 2. I was at 8:30 in the morning, I was on the phone with the tire guy. And by noon we had 4 brand new 18442 Firestone sitting here. Yeah. We put 2 on and the other two still got to go on. Yeah. So that was 20 and 21. 22, actually last year went really smoothly.
Did.
After I got the 5 straw walkers in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That went great.
Oh, I don't know. Happy tonight. The reason we went and got combine, we actually usually don't go and get it for another week or 2. This week it's coming back early. We have a rear main seal leaking on it, so it's going to John Deere to get fixed, which actually, you're my witness, I've never brought a combine to John Deere before.
Oh.
Ever. So this is 23, first time for everything. Combine's there, planter was there earlier this year. It's the trade-off for working an incredibly insane amount of hours in June and July. Because originally that was my goal. Like we were joking about it. Like you were gonna be side dressing and I was gonna be working on a combine.
Yep.
Well, I was so busy doing other work that didn't quite happen. But now we got a little extra quarters and we're just gonna take it to the repair shop and have them fix it. But yeah, so that's why we're bringing it back a little early, but it was just weird. Like we were talking, like driving out there to get the equipment, it was like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, Eric, it's August 17th. It's not September 17th. It's okay. Breathe a little. The crazy isn't starting all the way yet.
Yeah.
Just yesterday when I was at the Deere dealership, the main shop tech I was talking to, he just told me, he's like, get it here as soon as possible because we're filling up fast. So that's why today we were out there just getting it done and getting it brought home early. So hopefully tomorrow I'll clean it up a little bit and then bring it to town. So. So overall, nice. I mean, it is nice for once to be sitting here and not be like, what the heck? Like, we're not swearing at the weather.
Yeah,
we're not just like going crazy trying to fix something. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
A little bit of trade-off.